welcome to the fifth in this series of 5 foundational Yin Yoga classes. If you've been with us this entire time, thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me and everyone who's been watching. And if you have just now joined us, I do recommend that you go back and watch the classes 1 through 4 if you're not familiar with Yin. However, if you are familiar with Yin, this class is going to be pretty much like I would do any Yin class, in that I'm not going to do a lot of explanation in between while we're in the poses. I'm not going to over-explain things. I'm just going to lead you through the poses. I'm still going to give you modifications, so don't worry about that. But it's mainly, this class, the focus is going to be on getting into that silence, that space between the spaces in the poses, which are still going to be held for 3 minutes. And we're going to introduce a mantra today that you may or may not want to use. It's up to you. You might have your own mantra, but I'm going to introduce that to you as just a little bit of a meditation aid to help get you through those 3 minutes. Okay, so find your landing place here in a comfortable position, whether it's sitting or lying down. Make sure that you have your props and your supports all sorted. If you don't, you can just pause the video and grab what you need. But today we will need, there's a new pose that I haven't introduced, and I'm using this big pillow. You might need a couple of big pillows. So just grab a couple of extra things for today. Once you're in your comfortable position, just start to focus in on your breath. Try to slow everything down and be here where you are, this space that you've carved out for yourself. If it feels comfortable to you, you can close your eyes. If not, you can just relax your gaze and start to feel your energy coming down to a place more yin than what it might have just been. Take a couple of deep breaths in here. And now, with your eyes closed or your gaze still softened, bring your hands up and feel your middle finger and your ring finger with your thumb. So just kind of tap them together just to feel the pressure there. And then we're going to take our middle finger and ring finger, and we're going to gently tap our face right under our eyes and up and around our eye sockets. This is just a nice little extra relaxation technique. Tapping is great for reducing stress and anxiety. It's also great for bringing you into your body. Like if you say, for instance, you're stressed about things past or future, or just can't concentrate, this is a really great way to do it. So I'm just kind of tapping lightly all around my face, getting into my jawline, up into my forehead, whatever feels good for you. We're just going to gently do that. Breathing while you do it. And now we can move down to our collarbone area. You can get all 4 fingers into this area if you like. It can take it. It's just the soft skin of the face, especially under the eyes. You only want to use those 2 middle fingers. And I like to use the opposite arm to the opposite collarbone area just to get that area. This kind of stimulates the neuro-lymphatic system. It's an immune system booster, getting the blood flowing. And again, we're not trying to wake up our muscles or anything again with Yin. We're just trying to feel present in our bodies. Okay. And slowly relax your hands, palms facing up. We're going to take 2 more deep breaths here before we move into our poses. And while you're breathing, I'm going to introduce the mantra to you. So you can either, there's two, there's the one that we've been working with I, which is I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And the other ones for today, the word allow. So today we're going to use the mantra allow to basically signify our bodies that it's okay to release that energy and emotion. And also to our minds that we're going to allow ourselves to be still for the 3 minutes that we're in these poses, because as we all know, the stillness part of yin is probably the hardest. Okay, so when you feel like you're stuck or you need to, you just need that extra push to get through, or your body needs a push to sort of relax into the pose, it's allow. Okay, slowly take your last deep breath in this pose. And let's sigh out through the mouth. You can bat your eyes open if they weren't open already. Last thing before we go into the poses is to remember to honor your body today. If there's any pain anywhere in any pose, especially in the new pose that I'm going to show you, which is quite difficult, and some people may not even get into it at all, which is totally fine. But honor your body and pull out of a pose if you feel any sort of sharpness or achiness that feels more than a stretch, okay? All right, here we go. So I'm just going to come forward, come off of my block. Remembering if you don't have blocks, you can use a rolled up towel in place of the one that's gonna go behind our back. We're gonna start today in heart bench. So whatever, if you don't have blocks, whatever you've been using in place of blocks, go ahead and grab that now. I'm going to put one vertically here for my head, and this one is going to come up between my shoulder blades in my upper back, starting at the base of my neck, so the bottom of your cervical spine, and stopping right about your breastbone area. Okay, so planting our feet on the ground here, grounding your feet in, kind of guiding your bottom down as you need to, and I use my thumbs to guide this into place here. Finding a nice comfortable rest for your head. Remembering in heart bench, this is also great for the mantra allow, or the concept of allowing, because when your heart is open, you're allowing love and information and knowledge to come in, you're receiving. So this is a receiving pose. We're allowing all the good to come to us. From here, we're wanting to relax our hands, our arms on the ground, just letting them flop out. Your palms are up, and you can either have your knees resting on each other, so feet wide as the mat, knees resting on each other, or stretched out if your lower back allows it, and just relaxed. And we're here for 3 minutes. take your last deep breath in here in this pose. I don't know if you can hear my dog Nala, but she likes to take a big sigh when I take a big sigh. And as you exhale, slowly bring your feet, your knees up, your feet are grounded onto the mat, and you can either plant your elbows and grab onto the mat to pull yourself up, or like me, you can just shift your hips over and slowly roll off that towel or block and come up to a seated position, but we're going to be seated facing long ways on our mats. Little shout out to my bell ringer, Phil, who's so patiently keeping time for me today. Thank you. It's good in this position and any one that we're going to be doing folding over to get a blanket, not too thick, nice folded blanket like this to put just under your sit bones, to raise your hips up a bit, to take some of the tension out of your lower back. So I sit up on this and then I kind of scooch it back, so it's just taking the back of my butt cheeks and pulling them away. You can also reach under you and pull your butt cheeks back a bit. Okay, so we're moving into caterpillar pose, and in traditional yoga, remember this is a seated forward fold, and here we're not trying to engage our legs or our muscles in any way, so we're just going to let our legs flop out. If you have a knee injury, any problems with your knees, please do put a rolled up blanket here under them or a soft pillow under both knees. And because we're rolling over, you might want a nice thick bolster or a couple of pillows to push into your tummy area and just roll over, to maybe even a couple to sort of rest your forearms on. And in addition to that, you can have, I'm just going to add to my little pillow fort here. You can add a block or an extra pillow here to hold your head, and this way, as the gravity is pulling you down, you can change the height of it or take it away altogether as needed, okay? So I'll give you a second to get all of your things in order. And then we're going to take a deep breath in, and before we do, I'll just say, if you find the silence and the stillness difficult, which a lot of people do, even I do at times, depending on what's going on in your life, just remember that your thoughts aren't something that you need to fight. Your thoughts are good, they just come. That's just a natural thing that your mind does all the time, is throw things out. But I remind myself that TikToks, and I'm a TikTok fan, are 3 minutes now, and I watch them like I can watch 20 TikToks in a row and it doesn't seem to bother me because my mind is engaged with stories, 3-minute stories. So 3 minutes can go by quickly and it could go by slowly. So it's just up to you how you're going to use this 3 minutes. I just like to watch my thoughts go by like clouds. Don't get swept up in them like you're part of the story. Just watch them with non-judgment, using the mantras to get you through. Okay? So here we go. Take a deep breath in. Rolling over. deep breath in this pose. On your exhale, you can slowly roll up. Your head is going to come up last. And bat your eyes open. Just move your props and pillows and things off to the side very slowly, moving with intention. And then grab under your knees here to bend your legs, and we're going to slowly shift position to the middle of the mat. And here, if you need to, you can lean back on your hands and do a little bit of a windshield wiper, if that feels good. Bring your blanket back under your bottom if you have one, if you need to. Again, I always will say that it's probably best to have one. We always have to protect our lower backs because we need them so much. And this is a good time for me to say, be mindful if you have injuries in this area in the lower back. When you're folding over, just really be mindful of that. We need to counter it, and we will counter this forward fold. But that is important that you pay attention. If there are things that you feel are making you worse, just don't do them. Okay. So from here, we're going to go into Dragonfly. So we're sitting up on our blanket. We're going to take our knees and bring them gently out. We're helping our legs because we don't want to wake our muscles up. We don't want to engage our muscles. And again, if you need something under your knees, make sure that you get something there. You don't want to take your legs too far wide. Don't try to get all the stretch right here because we're folding over. So that stretch will happen with gravity and with our body weight. And just like we did with the caterpillar in Dragonfly, you want to also grab as many props as you need when you fold over, that it's comfortable for you. Again, I like my block situation because it allows me to change the height as gravity happens. So I hope you're going well in the stillness. Remember, I am breathing in, I am breathing out, and then also to repeat the mantra, allow, if you are finding difficulty being present in this stillness. Here we go, breathing in. And as you breathe out, gently folding over. I'm gonna start our timer here. Take one last deep breath in here, and as you roll up on your exhale, keep your eyes closed if you can, bringing your head up last. And then slowly bat your eyes open here. Great. How are we doing? Okay, we're just going to move everything to the side. And this next pose is the one that I was telling you about that's new, and it can be a bit challenging. So you might want to grab your big pillows and props if you have them close by. So using your hands, we're going to bring our legs back in, leaning back if you need to take this windshield wiper stretch one way and then the other. And now slowly and carefully, we're going to come up onto our knees. And move everything except for these big pillows and maybe a block off to the side. I'm just going to reset our timer here. Okay, so this is called saddle pose, and I'm going to show you what it looks like first, and then I'm going to show you modifications. So don't follow me just yet, because this can tend to be problematic for some people, especially if you have knee issues. Okay, so here I am seated on my knees, and for some people this in itself will be enough. Okay, the next phase of this is hero pose. So we're bringing our calves out to the side of your knees, and your legs can either be together here or they can be spread apart, just depending on how this works for you. This can be very hard on your ankles and very hard on your knees if you're not supple here, so please do not force this and don't follow along with me just yet. So this may be enough, and that's totally fine as well. This for 3 minutes could be quite a lot. You can take a block as well, or that firm towel that we use in place of a block, and place that there, and that actually takes a lot of the pressure off of this area and your ankles. You can put little blankets under your ankles here, or pillows, and in this position you can just sort of readjust yourself as you need to. Okay, so that's one. The next part of this is what this looks like in its full form. Some people, again, may never get there, or it may take years, is here, but lying all the way back. That's not going to happen for me. And so what I'm going to do is prop myself up back here so that I can lean back as much as I can without without feeling pain, and be in that position for 3 minutes. So in those 3 options that I've given you, if none of those work for you, if it's not working to sit on your knees or anything like that, then I would suggest to you to get in, if you can, the reclining pose that I gave you as an alternative to the swan pose a couple of videos ago. I think it was video 3 or 4, I'm not sure. But if you're laying down flat and you are here, that still gives you a bit of a knee stretch and a bit of a hip opener stretch. So you could be like that. You could grab a hold here and you'll get more of a stretch there. Remember, we're not engaging our feet or our muscles here. So you'll want to do that, and then you'll want to do it on the opposite side as well if none of the saddle pose alternatives work for you. Okay, and remember, especially in something like this that's different, it's new, and it's quite intense, if you feel any sort of pain, you need to pull out of this pose slowly and carefully. Don't jerk yourself out, because that could cause you more injury. So this is about getting into a deeper stretch, so you're having a deeper sort of sensation in your body. You could possibly feel that emotional or energy release of, an onset of crying or laughing or something. That could happen. It does happen quite often. And that's just a normal, natural thing, and you just sort of let that happen and carry on. I'm stacking all of these up for my head and back support, and I'm gonna let us have about 20 seconds to get into this pose. I'm going to set our timer for 3 minutes and 20 seconds. And then away we'll go. Remember, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And when we come to get out of this pose, please, we're going to take our time and come out very, very slowly. Start to deepen your breath here. We have about 30 more seconds in this pose. Take your last deep breath in this pose. And on the exhale, we're going to slowly use your hands to push yourself up. Coming very, very, very slowly, if you were laying back, I should say. And then we're going to also use your hands to lift your bottom up off the ground. Bring your knees and feet together back into a seated pose. Great job. No matter how you did this, so well done. Well done. And again, I'll constantly reiterate that there is no end goal other than to unite our lower or our individual self with our higher or infinite selves. That's what the whole goal of yoga always is. It's not to get into the ultimate pose or to be the most bendy. So however you do this and however you're able to meet that personal edge of yours and find the gap or the bridge between the lower self and the higher self is how you do it. Excellent. So now we're going to move these out of the way. And we're coming into a melting heart pose. We've done this before too, but I'm going to remind you of what it looks like and what you can do for modification if you need it. So we're going to come back into a tabletop position. And from here, just walk your hands a little bit forward of your shoulders. And you can also walk your knees back as you need to. So the idea is we're just like, this is a puppy pose in traditional yoga, or like a downward facing dog on our knees. So we're just kind of bending back, putting our sit bones up to the sky, melting our hearts down to the mat. And this can get really intense for your upper back and your shoulder area. So if you need support here, you can have pillows sort of tucked under you like this, just to give you a little bit more, I don't know, cushion. You don't have to go all the way down to the mat. It's just where you feel comfortable and get a nice stretch. I'm gonna use a blanket to rest my forehead on as I melt down. I'll let you have about 20 seconds to get into position here, and we'll be 3 minutes in melting heart. Breathing in as you go into the pose, and exhaling as you melt down. Deepen your breath here. We've got about 30 more seconds. Take your last deep breath in here, and on your exhale, we're going to slowly bring ourselves back up to table. You can move this up to the top of the mat if you had a mat, a blanket here. Bring yourself onto your hip, and then slowly going down to our back, all the way down. Okay. I'm using this as a little pillow for my head. Now from here, we're going to plant our feet on the mat, bending our knees, and then just bring your feet in together and let your legs flop open wide. If this is too much on your hips and you need something under your knees here to just take some of that strain out of this hip opener. Just do what you need to do. This is such a great counter pose for our saddle that we just did. So we're here for 3 minutes, and from here it's just going into Shabasana. So you've done so great today. We're not done yet, so don't go anywhere. This is that most important part here, these last 6 minutes that you're going to give yourself. 3 minutes in this butterfly, reclining butterfly, and 3 minutes in Shabasana. So here you have your hands on your belly or at your side with palms open. Make sure your feet are touching each other. That's a pulse point there, very good for connective energy too. It's like the figure 8, right? It's like an infinite energy cycle. Even though we've moved through some possibly difficult poses here, difficult physically, these last couple of poses can actually be more difficult as far as just really getting into the stillness and the quietness. So remember that the mantra or the concept of allow yourself this time. Allow yourself to be still. Remind yourself that stillness is so important to your overall health and well-being. Take one more deep breath in here. And on your exhale, you can sort of reach down and help your knees come together. And then when they do, maybe lift up on your heels a bit to feel your spine get centered and comfortable on the mat as you slowly lower your legs down, letting your feet flop open as they want to. We're coming into Shabasana, so make sure that you have everything you need here to be super comfy and warm. I'm gonna grab this blanket, this nice weighted blanket, and put it over my hips. It's a little bit chilly in here. This acts as an anxiety stabilizer. You know, these like weighted blankets, putting them over your hips or your abdominal area is so soothing. So that's me. My shoulder blades are going to get tucked under, so maybe use your elbows
lift up and tuck your little wings under you, having your palms open. Maybe getting a pillow as you need to. If you were barefoot and you want some socks, maybe pause the video and go grab some snuggly socks to put on, just so that you're ultra comfortable here as you allow yourself to melt into this moment, these final moments in your practice today. Breathe deep into your belly, and as you exhale, feel your spine coming down to meet the mat, and the mat and the ground underneath it coming up to meet your spine and literally having your back. So you might need, whatever's going on in your life today, maybe you needed that extra knowing that the earth has always got you. Let your forehead relax. Maybe part your lips a bit, and that allows your whole face to relax. Relax your tongue and your mouth. It's very hard for some of us to carve out this time for ourselves when we feel like we're not being productive, or we're not breaking a sweat, or we're not 100% sure of how this is benefiting us or someone else. But I assure you, when each one of us experiences stillness and presence in the moment, that's not only contributing so much to ourselves and our own well-being, but the collective consciousness gets a great benefit out of it as well. You deserve this time and this space that you are taking up. So take it. If you need more time here, as always, I encourage you to stay in Shabasana as long as you can. If you are wanting to or needing to move, then you can slowly bring some life back into your fingers and toes. Move some of your props or blankets aside. Reach your arms up overhead and take a nice big stretch. Breathing in deeply, exhaling, and then bend your knees and gently roll over to your side, any side. Maybe use your bottom arm as a pillow for a second as you take another deep breath in fetal position here, feeling the ground having you, the Mother Earth having you. Now as you inhale, if you're coming to a seated position, that is, come all the way up. If you can keep your eyes closed here, it's always so nice to keep them closed until the very last minute. And bringing a blanket underneath my sit bones here as I sit up.
Gently resting your hands on your knees. Bring your hands to prayer and your thumbs up to your third eye or right between your eyebrows. And gently bow your head into your thumbs. Deep breath in here. You can, on the exhale, bring your hands down to your heart space and bat your eyes open if you like. Thank you so much. From the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of you who has taken the time to be here and explore this space with me and all of us. And not just your time and your space, but your energy as well, because we need each other, and we need each other to hold space for each other. And so that's what I am going to continue to do for you as I do it for myself. And again, thanks for taking this journey, this 5-part journey with me, but this isn't the end, because we're going to continue with Yin Yoga, gentle yoga. I've got a beginning yoga series starting soon, if it's not already up yet, so please stay tuned for that. And I hope to see you again. Thanks again. Namaste.